You are now listening to Talk Your Jits podcast.
Welcome back to the Talk Your Jits podcast. This podcast is, as the name implies, all about Jiu Jitsu. I'm your host, Lamar Smith, and today's guest is a first-degree black belt who teaches at Technique Lab Jiu Jitsu Academy, located in West Richland, Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, Beau Babb.
Hey.
How's it going, sir?
Pretty good. Winding down after a long day. But
Yeah. Had a date night with my daughter, so it was a cool, chill day today.
Good. Yeah, those were always nice.
Yeah, don't get to have them as often as I would like, but when we do, we like to have a good time.
Yeah, those are important.
Yeah, definitely with having little girls. So
for sure,
gotta stay on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's get the ball rolling, man. If you want to formally introduce yourself again, by all means, and let's hear your jiu-jitsu journey.
Yeah. So my name is Beau Babb, and I'm over here in Washington State. Been training for 16 years now, 15 or 16 years. Like you said, a first degree black belt. Will be second degree this fall sometime ish. However that happens, So, I started out. There wasn't any jiu-jitsu around here when I started. There was one place, and it was ran by a purple belt at the time, and it was a purple belt and probably 20 white belts, and it was in a shack out kind of on the outskirts of Richland, and it was just tough training there, and when I say a shack, it's like a storage shed, like a big shed, no AC in the summertime, no heat in the wintertime. So it was some rough training sometimes, but we gutted it out, and that place closed down, and didn't have anywhere to train. So I bought mats and trained at home. I was a blue belt at the time, so I got my blue belt in just over a year. So it was about 13 months. I was training, 6 days a week. I think what helped me out with that was I was always studying off the mat too, just like now. But I was training, and then I was at home watching videos, taking notes, and I got obsessed. So so it was a quick blue belt transition, and then that place shut down, and so I was training at home for a few months with just some old training partners, and another training partner opened up another academy. Went over there, started teaching as a blue belt. Just again, there's nothing else around here, and then just kind of went from there. And then this area is now kind of blown up. There's, I'm a black belt now. I've promoted 2 black belts. And there's a world champion black belt in another town, and one of his black belts has another school. So now we've got, probably a dozen black belts here, from
nice.
It's blown up around here. So in a nutshell, that's kind of my journey. Most of my journey has been teaching, kind of unfortunately, but
unfortunately,
you're right. So I guess maybe it helped me understand things a little bit better, but then I didn't get the opportunity to kind of focus on my own development. It was more like helping other people out, which is, not bad, but I kind of wish I had the time to focus on myself a little bit, correct my own mistakes. So
I started teaching roughly around, no, it wasn't roughly, it was like I was a blue belt when I started teaching.
Okay.
Obviously started with the kids class, and then every now and then I'll take over an adults class, and fast forward to now, where it's like I've been kind of like teaching full time as a brown belt. And you get those moments like, man, sometimes I just want to be a student
Yeah.
I just want to, sit back and work on my own game and
Yeah.
develop my own stuff without stopping to teach. But I feel like it also helped my game a lot more because having to break down, explain stuff
Yep.
enough. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm actually teaching myself when I'm explaining stuff, but it has its woes, I guess.
Yeah. And, I was teaching at a different school here, and then I moved to my to technique lab now, and with two of my black belts there. And I told them, I was like, hey, I just want to train. I'll be a student, I just want to be there. I don't want to run any classes. And they're good with that. It's their time to teach, and so I'm happy with that. But I still find myself teach, you know what I mean, like drilling. I'm like, oh hey, let me give you a tip over here. And like, so it's like ingrained in me now. It's like I can't stop.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll always teach in some way.
I'll be at a seminar and be like, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a
Hmm.
teacher. I'm not a teacher. Just just work, man. Just work.
It's-
Get your understanding. Get your work. But it's
Yep.
like it just happens, man. It's just second nature at this point.
Yeah, and it's funny. Sometimes the guys that are teaching, if I'm at that class, they're like, oh, they'll teach and stuff, and they'll right after they're done explaining, they'll check with me like, did I do that right? I'm like, oh God, dude. Yeah, you did it fine. You did it fine. Did I miss anything? Did I? Oh, like, oh man.
Like, look at your waist. I think you got it. I think
you're okay.
you got it. I think you're okay.
Yeah. Yep.
But you still, like, sometimes you still feel lost, man. Like, you're trying to explain stuff, you're trying to teach stuff, especially when your instructor sitting there is like, did I do that right? Was this right? What could I say more? What could I did less? And blah blah. Yeah, you get nervous no matter what. You've been doing it so long, and still, your instructor walking, you're like, oh man, I forgot what this is. What are we supposed to be doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything else under the sun, but
yeah,
that doesn't change at all. I see. Even now, man, I still there's sometimes I'll be just sitting there thinking to myself, like, dang, did I explain that right?
Yeah.
Did I do that right? Oh, that was stupid. Why did I say that?
I don't get that too often because I never really trained full time under a black belt. So I didn't have an instructor to watch over everything. So I'm just all videos, DVDs, troubleshooting, and and I'd travel to who I was under, and he roll with him, and he'd watch me roll with other people, and he would come to our school, same thing, bring guys, and that's how he promoted me to black belt. He's like, oh yeah, and he watched me teach too. He'd like, yeah, you teach well. And we've had other people come through that travel a lot that are pretty well known in the jiu-jitsu community, and they've kind of said the same thing. So I'm like, okay, I feel pretty, not being under a black belt the whole time, I feel pretty confident in my my rank, So I would have imposter syndrome early on, especially, but now seeing other black belts and just like highly ranked black belts be like, yeah, you're solid. I'm like, okay, I feel better.
Yeah, that's a real big breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
When you got higher ranking black belts, like, oh yeah, that was pretty good, or I didn't think about that. You'd be like, oh
yeah.
Yep. It's just like just calm, just rush over you, like, okay,
yeah,
I wasn't sounding stupid.
It's a weight off your shoulders, and it's kind of the same weight like when you get your black belt. Because I remember when I was a brown belt, I was like, oh man, you have this pressure, like, I just got to get there. I need to get there. I got to work harder. I got to drill more. I got to learn more and all this kind of stuff. And then once you get there, it's kind of like, I mean, it kind of goes away a little bit, but you want to prove you're a black belt, I guess. But the pressure of getting there is gone. So it's kind of a nice relief.
Yeah, my instructor kind of it just it distilled that into me when I got, when I was a brown belt. And like he just like the one thing that he said to me that like just stuck with me so much, it kind of like, just kind of eased my nerves a little bit, was like, you've been a brown belt, you understand the system, you teach, you train, you do all this, you live, breathe jujitsu. At this point, the only way that you're not getting your belt is either if you die or you stop training. And we say no, neither one of those hopefully is not happening no time soon. He says, I know you're not gonna stop training. And I was like, oh yeah, you know that for sure. So
Yeah.
So it's just like, after once you get the brown, man, it's kind of like, all right, I just gotta wait my turn.
That's it. You just gotta put in the hours, really. That's all the guys that I promoted to brown, that's it. I'm like, you guys know enough. You just need to just stay on the mats, really.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, it's not just, it's not to say that it's not the same going from blue to purple, purple to brown, but I mean, it's just more so like you've learned everything that you think you're going to need in jiu-jitsu. At this point at brown, you're just chopping away stuff. You're doing a lot of refinement, doing a lot of more understanding and whatnot. And once you get black, it's like, all right, now it's time to learn what jiu-jitsu really means.
Yeah. Brown belt is when I started to try to not be such a technique collector and kind of stop trying to learn everything, and then just like started just focusing on fundamentals and just making things work, that kind of stuff. And it's still been going on since, but I try to tell that to a lot of people. I was like, man, YouTube's good, and like, I watched a lot of YouTube, and I have nothing against watching videos and stuff. It's just so easy to go down the rabbit hole, and so easy to want to try this, want to try that, and then you get to rolling and stuff, and then you freeze because you're like, oh, I think I saw something at one point for this position, I don't know what, and then you're smashed, and it's like, it's super. That happened to me many times. so
many times.
Yeah.
So many times.
Yeah.
But and it's one of those things where it's like, you cut down, you on the refinement, because if you go back and you watch high level grappling matches, it's usually the basic stuff that you learned at white belt that's working.
Yeah.
It's like
just connecting the dots,
Yeah. You got your Americanas, you got your rear neck choke, you got your guillotines, Kimuras. Those are like the main things you see.
Yeah. Triangle.
Like, you gotta know how to, right.
Yeah. Yeah. You just got to know how to connect the positions, really, and seeing the opportunity to switch positions. And it's the little things, once you get it to a higher level, you just gotta, it's the experience, it's not, it's hard to teach, you know what I mean? Like, 1 second.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, it's hard to teach that, the knowing when to switch, when to give up something and transition. So you can show transitions and stuff, sure, but it's just the experience that's gotta come in at that point, I think.
Yeah, you can't teach instinct.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you gotta feel it out, man. You gotta go out there and get your hands dirty. Yep. And the best way to do that is, you find what you want to work and you just work it. Fail at it a lot.
Yeah.
Until you can figure out how to get that.
I went to speaking of that, I went to a Jeff Glover seminar a few years ago, and it was deep half guard. And I asked him, I was like, hey man, give me some advice on, like, if I want to get good at a spot, if I want to get good at something. And he's just like, live there for like years. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, when I did deep half guard, I did that every day for years and years and years. He's like, so just do something, pick one thing, and just do it every single day for years. I was like, that sounds boring. I was like, I just want to get good. I don't want.
That's not what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, like, come on, man, you gotta give me some sort of like better insight than that. But, yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, it's just a lot of repetitions, because once you get to a certain point, it's like, I know that I'm not going to be in so much danger rolling with with a lower belt.
Yeah.
I can goof around and try stupid shit and see if it'll work. Just start throwing stuff at the wall and see if it works.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, for example, the guys that I roll with are all either wrestled before, MMA fighters, and just big.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I know a lot of stuff that I know that I'm not going to do, but I'm going to try to build what I can from whatever position. Like if I know I love Kimuras, because I can set them up for a submission or I can set them up for a sweep. So it's like I try to work that in my game to work how to get a Kimura from any position, and that's all I've been working on, and it helps me a lot because the person that I'm working with knows what I'm going to do. So it's like if they know that I'm only hunting for Kimuras and guillotines, they're going to try to defend that.
Yeah.
So it's my job to build upon whatever I need to do to get those submissions.
Yeah.
And it don't work all the time. It does not work all the time.
No.
I'd say for every 10 rolls, maybe it works like 3.
Yeah.
And that's just being generous.
Better not working at all, I guess. Yeah.
Right. But, I learned, it's like, okay, well, I know for a fact that, if I'm rolling with the linkier guy, I got to work, I got to start breaking his guard down a little bit more. If I'm working with a stronger guy, I got to make him move more the way I need him to go to get that, set arm lock. So,
yeah. I don't know if it's been a good thing or not, but I call it's pretty lazy. I call it just lazy jiu-jitsu. I just tell people I'm just a fat guy that knows how to lay on people. And I could just lay on you and make you tired. But I mean, I'm a really big fan of just making somebody burn their gas tank as much as you can. So usually if I'm on top or somebody, I'm just making you work. Just make you work to breathe. I'm not trying to be a wet blanket, let you move, carry my weight whenever possible, and then try to go for a submission from there for sure. So that's usually if I'm trying to work on something, that's what I do, is just try to tire somebody out and then work on my position, because most of the time if you're trying to get something on somebody fresh, it's going to be really hard to do.
Really hard to do. Really, really hard to do. Even
if they don't know the defense very well. You're going to be fighting somebody's strength if you're, not in the best position. It's going to be a lot of work. I'm not opposed to work. It's just, I want the other person to work more than me. So if I'm doing a lot of work just to try to get what I want, then it's like not technically sound, I guess.
Right. But yeah, I'm that same way too, man. I will ride the wave until I can feel that frustration started to build, and once you started to suck it down air, I'm like, okay, now it's time to play.
I was rolling with last week. I was rolling with one of our guys, and he's a previous wrestler, so he's got that wrestling mentality, and he's got that spunk in him, and it's like, and he could be hard to deal with. And so I ended up in one of my favorite positions, is mount, but with underhooks, and getting their arms above their head. And I get into that position, and I end up going for like a mounted triangle, but I'm a bit bigger than this guy. So I get the mounted triangle, and then I roll off onto my back, and he's like, it was invisible. He goes, "Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God." He's like, and then I finished the triangle. He's like, "Dude, the triangle was nothing compared to that mount." He's like, "Thank God." That's so funny.
I love it, man. That's how you be, man. Sometimes you roll with someone and they know how to put that pressure on. It's like, dude, just hurry up, man.
Please.
Hurry up, please.
Yeah. And
that's what our system was based off of, under Grandmaster Joe Moera, that smash pass, old style Gracie, grind jiu-jitsu. And he's always been that type of person. Like, we don't just pass guard, we punish. To the point where it's like, if I'm going for a pass, I'm gonna just go slow and I'm gonna just grind. You're just gonna just suck for until I'm done. Okay. And by that time, you're like, okay, dude, just pass. Just go ahead and pass, dude. Just hurry up. I want to breathe. So
Yeah, I'm a fan of that kind of jujitsu. I like, I like the littler guys that are fast and technical too. That's really cool to
Mhm.
watch. It's just not me. I'm not a small guy, so that doesn't really apply. But so I try to if I'm teaching, um, I try to apply it to everybody, as much as I can. But for the most part, it's slow grind, just grind them out.
slow grind. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And I got a chance to grow with a couple guys at an affiliate gym. No, he was visiting that gym too, so he was a brown belt. So I'm like, okay, it's somebody I don't have to like play around with. It's someone that knows. So and he competes too. So I was like, oh yeah, we about to roll for real.
Mhm.
So we're rolling, and tall, lanky guy. That's my kryptonite, and he goes for a triangle. And I had enough time to shoot my shoulder through a little bit more, and I stacked his body. So at this point, I'm relaxed enough. He thinks he has me still in the triangle, but I'm relaxed enough where it's not like I'm not panicking. So I'm just sitting there holding him, and he's like all his weight is on the back of his neck, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, one of us has got to let go.
Yeah.
I'm not letting go. I'm not letting go, dude. I was like, I'm comfortable, and like every now and then I take a deep breath. I'm like, okay, I can still breathe. All right, I'm just gonna keep myself relaxed. And he's just like trying to adjust. I'm moving to make sure he's still under me. And then I think maybe like at that minute, he just like let go. He's like, all right, dude, I can't do it no more. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't let go, dude.
Yeah.
Like, nope,
Yeah, that's
no
the best,
sir.
man. I also
Yeah.
move slow when I roll. I'm not really like I don't like to move very fast. Like everything most not like super slow, but I try to move. Everything I do is slow, controlled, and because everybody's got a gas tank, man, and I feel like mine's not that big when it comes to
Yeah.
cardio. In jiu-jitsu, it's decent. I can roll 4 or 5 rounds,
Mhm.
back to back to back, it'd be fine. But if I were to go run a mile, I'd be freaking hurting,
Man, climb up 5 steps, it's over.
Yeah. But I can roll. Yeah. So I try to just be slow and as technical as possible. And I feel like that's helped me stay on the mats as long as it has. I'm not on the mats a ton, but injuries happen. And if I can control the overuse injuries and the dumb injuries, then, that'll keep me on the mats longer.
Yeah. Yeah, we know my instructor has always been that type of guy that says, do jujitsu now that you can do in your 60s.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, is if I'm going to be that person that wants to do this for the rest of for the rest of my life, I want to be able to do that. Go out there and roll with these younger guys and roll with these these stronger guys. Because yeah, I'm that way too. I try to go slow. I try to be more methodical. And because I'm like, dude, if we rolling the whole entire class, and there's like 10 of us, dude, this is like an hour rolling. And
Yeah.
I'm going to try to roll with everybody. So I gotta pace this, man. We gotta slow this down a little bit.
And even rolling like that, you get sore.
Mhm. Yeah.
Even
Mhm.
taking it easy, it's not so gentle. There's the guy that I was under. He I think he's in his 50s, maybe 50s, yeah, late 50s now, and he is jacked up. But he's like original old school Carlson Gracie,
Mhm.
with down in Carlson's school in Rio. He's from there, and so and I guess back then it was hard. Like you're rolling hard every day. You're trying to earn your spot on the team every day, and you can tell in his body he's hurting. Like I don't want to be like that.
I know, right? It's like I don't want to be like that.
Yes, I got I got to work and I got a family, and I can't.
Right. As much as I would love to do jujitsu, full time, I still need this body. I gotta clock in tomorrow.
I already make weird sounds standing up, so I don't want to make it any worse.
Like, you never know. Like, man, I was like, I never realized how much I grunt and do everything when I get up, man. I was like, it's like,
Breathe.
no,
Yeah. Everything pops
right.
down.
Everything pop and just. I like
Yep.
remember the other day I think we did like, man, I think like 3 days straight of jujitsu. We did our class on Friday, then we did a open mat on Saturday, and then we had another open mat on Sunday. And I think that next morning I got up and I felt my body want to get up, but my knee was like, nah, bruh. So I kind of like did this awkward slide off the bed, trying to like catch my balance.
It's hard, man. Like getting up off the floor after playing with my kids. If I'm cold, if I'm not warmed up, man, it takes me a few seconds to get up. Even technical stand up. I'm like, oh, back, I gotta straighten my back out, Yeah. But once I'm warm, it's funny. Once I'm warm and moving around, like it's fine. I'm cool. But if I'm trying to do anything remotely jujitsu like and I'm cold, not happening.
No, it's wrap.
Yep.
It's a wrap, dude. Yeah. And I was just about to say that too. Like, if you talk to people or, you watch videos and you see people just rolling hard and everything else, and you're thinking to yourself, like, man, they must really take care of their bodies. Nope.
Yeah.
We're
I
all beat
wonder
up.
how those dudes feel. Like, I wonder how those dudes feel that train, every day, 2 days. I'm just like, man, how is your body? If you better be doing LeBron, like investing $1 million a year in recovery, because, hey, man, I can't imagine that.
There's those people that's training, 5 times a week, and like you said, doing 2-a-days, and they got like other stuff they're doing in between. And I'm like, I granted you guys are obviously used to this now, but just the thought of that mindset of like, ooh, I love the idea of doing jujitsu every single day, 2 times a day, but my body is like, no, no, as fast as I want to, like, nope.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started, it was only 1 a day, but it was 6 days a week. And Sundays I was feeling it. And I was, when I started, I was 23 or 4. About that. Yeah. 23 or 24. But, I was feeling it on Sundays. And I had other, previous injuries and stuff that kind of would flare up and stuff. But even back then, being in my 20s, it was like kind of rough.
Yeah.
But now I'm in my late 30s now, and I'm just like, oof, I don't want to think about that.
Nothing, dude. Like, I had turned 37 in April.
Yep.
And I can tell you, like, there's been so many days where I'm just chilling. My knee started throbbing. Or my like big toe started throbbing. It's like, dude, what is going on?
Yeah.
I ain't even doing nothing. Like, why is it hurting?
Yeah. For me, it's like low back and my ribs and stuff. I'm just, oof. Yeah.
But if there was class in like the next half hour, will we be there?
Probably. Yeah. Gotta take a hot shower first, warm up my body a little bit. Get there.
Turn the heat on in the car. Body warm so I get there.
Heat warmer. Yeah. Yep.
Because I remember I messed up my back somehow. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take a couple of days off. I'm going to soak my body, blah, blah, blah. And then after that first day, I was like, oh, I can't miss another class. This is, I don't like this. So I'm like leaving out the house, and my wife is looking at me like, you going to open mat? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not. I'm going to take it slow. Just a couple small rolls. I was like, ain't nobody showing up to open mat. It's maybe 1 or 2 people might show up. Whatever. I get there. That had to be like the biggest open mat we had.
Yeah.
I think it was like 12, 13 people on the mats. And it's just like rolls. It's everybody rolling. So I'm like, I can't say no.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people, a lot of bodies. So boom, we roll, we do open mat. And then I'm feeling good. I get home. The adrenaline started to come down. body started getting cold, and I'm just standing at the bottom of the steps, and it looks like a million steps leading up to my room. I'm like, my wife was like, "You rode hard, didn't you?" I'm like, "No, man, no."
Medium. That was medium day.
And she was like, "How many people showed up?" I'm like, "Not 12."
Yeah. You know, one thing I wish, like, if I could tell myself something or give my white belt self piece of advice, it would be like to take care of your body after class, because it's so easy and most people just get up and leave, go home, and
Bad habit of that.
Yeah,
Real bad habit of that.
just cool down, do some stretches, move around a little bit, because oh man, yeah, if I would have done that 10 years ago, I probably would be in better shape than I am now.
Oh
But
yeah. Yeah.
I still don't do it though. You know, I'm still like, I'm just gonna go home. I'll be fine.
I keep telling myself, like, man, I was like, I'll get done with a hard class. I'm like, I really need to stretch. Yeah, I do when I get home.
Yeah, sure.
I get home, it's like, next thing you know, I'm in the shower and I'm asleep.
Yep. Yeah. Have you tried like cold plunging or anything for recovery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like it?
I enjoy it, man.
Do you?
I really enjoy it. Like well, I don't do it as often because I don't have one. But what I usually do is I'll just take a cold shower.
Oh, that's worse
you
for me. That's worse than just getting in a cold tub.
True.
Cold shower.
True.
That's something
But
else.
if I gotta sit there and fill a tub up and wait for it, I'm not gonna do it. So I just like, no, just boom, turn the cold water on.
Yeah. I'm such a wuss, man. I got a tub, like it's a trough outside, but it gets cold enough. And I've used it a few times, but man, I'm such a wuss when it comes to that. I need to hear all the benefits, from it with recovery and just all these other health benefits. But
yeah,
I need to actually do it and see how my body feels doing it regularly.
Because one thing we did, we went to Cali in early May, and at the hotel where we were staying, they had like the hot tub and the pool, and the pool was cold, so we were just like doing hot, hot cold. And I can say, like, man, I felt so good after that.
Nice.
Like everything, it was like my body wasn't like it was loose enough, but it was like it felt very, very. Even though I was cold, I felt very relaxed. Like my body felt very, very relaxed.
I guess it's really good to do like cold plunging before training. I guess because it's like I don't want to call it a form of heat or a form of warming up, but your internal body temperature rises, I guess. So if you cold plunge maybe an hour before a class, cold plunge for 5-10 minutes or whatever, get out and feel good, your internal temperature goes up. That's why they say you shouldn't do it at night, because it's hard to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Kind of weird
Not
thing.
for me though.
No, I fall asleep anywhere. Yeah. I don't have a problem.
I get comfortable enough. I'm out.
Yep.
Yeah, I would really love a cold plunge. I know they got the little smaller ones you can like just slap on your back porch or something, but
yeah,
I want to get one. I like the cold plunges.
Yeah.
People might think we're crazy, but hey, man, whatever I need to do to make sure I'm doing jiu-jitsu a little bit longer, man, so be it.
Yeah, I just need a sauna. I think I would use a sauna way more than a cold plunge.
And you know what? I have a personal sauna. I got it from Amazon for it was on sale for like $100. And that's probably like one of the best things I ever bought.
Oh, is it like a steam one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So it's a little personal little sauna. Sit in it, give about a good hour, and then I just hop in a I won't say a cold shower, but a colder shower. And then once I get used to it, turn the temperature up until I'm like, I can't stand it anymore, and then I'm good.
Oh, nice. I have to try that. I've been looking at those sauna tents. They make sauna tents out there, with a little wood burning stove in there, but apparently those are pretty good too.
Yeah, man, it's so many weird ways to take care of your body, but it's worth it. It's
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, like, if anyone's listening that's, starting jujitsu or thinking about starting jujitsu, recovery is a big thing that's needed, that you're
Yeah.
gonna need.
Yeah.
'Cause
Invest. Yeah. That's what I tell.
invest. Yeah.
That's what I tell everybody that's a white belt. I'm like, hey man, you need to take care of your body. So do yoga if you can find yoga or something, and do something simple up on the side of the mat or something. Do it.
Yeah,
Might
got
look
to.
stupid, whatever, but you're not gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it later, for sure.
And oddly enough, man, yoga is probably like the hardest thing I've ever done.
Dude, it's tough. It's tough. I feel like I'm such a wuss. Yoga.
It's like I've fought man twice my size, and I can't get this freaking lotus pose for
Yeah,
nothing.
Can't hold my own body weight up like this. This is stupid. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. I'm not the only one that thinks that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did yoga. I did a couple yoga classes a few years ago, and I think I was only able to get through it because it was after like jujitsu class. So it was like right after jujitsu class into a yoga class. So I was able to get through it. But if I were to go into a yoga class cold, I don't think I would be able to get into most of those positions.
Not at all.
Even the instructor like had to like kind of push me down into some of the positions. Like, you're really stiff. You gotta shove my body. I was like, oh, well, it's about as far as I go.
Like, hey, what do you do again? Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yoga definitely taught me a lesson, man. Because I think one of the first times I tried yoga, I'm like, well, I'm not that flexible, but I'm used to being contorted and rolling around. It should be easy. It's not.
Mm-mm.
It's not. I think I was sweating more at yoga class than I was jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah, they're tough.
so these people that get up and do it every day, man, I commend you guys, man.
Yeah.
I want to, but it's hard. Yeah.
I wonder if it would be easier if you didn't do jiu-jitsu. Like if you never did jiu-jitsu and you started yoga, just like, hey, I want to try yoga. I wonder if it would be easier if you weren't, stiff and stuff already. Don't know.
Maybe. But we're talking, years of not stretching.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't stretch more. I didn't stretch much before jiu-jitsu anyway, so I don't know.
I didn't either, man. And as much as I played sports and growing up, and that's the main thing, stretch and make sure your body is loose and warm and blah blah blah. Nope. I'm like, all right, last start, we may do a little warm up, but minimal stretching, and then we're just working.
Yeah. And I don't know. There should have been a lesson learned, but I used to run track in high school, and I was the best season I had. I was adamant about stretching before and after practice, heating before practice, stretching, icing after practice, stretching. Never missed a day, and I had the best season of my life. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, and like just never took that to heart, forgot about it, so I don't stretch anymore. I need to.
Yeah.
Should have learned my lesson. Didn't.
It's not too late, man.
Yeah.
Not too late.
I don't know.
I keep telling myself it's not too late. It's not too late.
These hammies are tight.
Yeah, man. Because it's just, I don't know. It's weird when it's like you know this stuff. You know what can cause what because you do this so much. It's like I know I should take care of my body.
Yeah.
But no.
Right. And just like rehabbing things, like I know I've had my right foot pop so many times. There was a guy I used to roll with a lot. He was I think he still competes, but he was up there he didn't win like worlds. He won World Masters a couple times, I think. I don't remember exactly, but he was a really pretty well-known competitor from Brazil, and he popped my ankle. I don't even know how many times. We used to roll a lot, but I never really rehabbed it right. I'm like, oh, it feels good today. I'm just gonna let it go. But it's been since COVID, so since lockdown, so like 4 years. And
4 years, yep.
Still hurts. Like it's still it'll feel good for like a week. I'm like, okay, great. Go roll. Boom. Back to day one. Hurts. Can't walk. And got to rehab any injuries that you get, rehab them, because it's not worth it.
Jiu-Jitsu is not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta remind ourselves, like, Jiu-Jitsu is not going anywhere. That's like my training partner, man. From the time we got back from Cali in May to now, his knee has been like just been bothering him so much. And we're like, dude, go get your knee checked out. Go get your knee checked out. And it's a jiu-jitsu answer. Like, man, I want to, but I don't know how long they're gonna have me off. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't want that bad news, Like, oh,
you
can't
don't
train for 4 months. You're like, oh no. I'd rather just train.
Yes, I'd rather just train through the pain.
Train half-assed. Yeah.
Because I had surgery back in December. I had my gallbladder and appendix removed. And they were like, you can't, you're not gonna be able to lift stuff. You're not gonna be able to do things for a couple weeks. And he was like, so what do you do for a living? I was like, I do martial arts. And he was like, yeah, you're definitely not doing that for 2 weeks. And I'm like, are you sure? I can't do this for 2 weeks. It's like, well, at least until you go see your doctor. And then, that first couple of days, was like, okay, this was a universal sign for me to rest. Like, I've been talking about getting some rest, mentally, physically, all that stuff. I needed a break and blah, blah, blah. By day 3, I was like, I need to do something.
Gotta do something.
I gotta do something. And then I think I started going back to class, but I had to like check in with the warden. I'm like, look, my bag is upstairs in the room. I don't have nothing else under. I don't have no rash guard, no shorts under this. I promise you, I'm not doing anything on the mat. I just need to be in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I just need to be in it. So then fast forward, I go to my doctor. I'm like, yeah, it's 2 weeks. I'm feeling a lot better. I can move, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, everything's healing up good, but let's just be on the safe side. Let's give it another 2 more weeks. I was like,
yeah, I didn't hear nothing. Yeah. I was the same way. I broke my hand. I broke my hand, and it was like the weirdest way to break it. But I broke the bone right here, and I had to be in a splint with my hand like this for, oh gosh, I was in there for probably 8 weeks.
Oh,
so I could only roll with like these two pinchers on my left hand. The doctor's like, you shouldn't roll, but like I'm gonna do it. So that's how I would grab gis and stuff with my pinchers. And but luckily I didn't have to have surgery on it. I thought I was gonna have to. Even the doctor, the orthopedic surgeon, was like, yeah, you're probably gonna have to have surgery. And I was like freaked out about that. I didn't want surgery, and however long that was gonna take. Keep me off the mats. And he stared at my hand. He like made my wrist do this, and he was like watching my fingers open and close. And he was like, well, you don't need surgery, because he said most people do, but for some reason I didn't. So then I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna keep training. I didn't tell him I was training, but
right,
I'm gonna keep training. So I just trained with an MMA glove on that hand for another probably month or two. Just an MMA glove and on that one hand, and the other one was normal. But yeah, I was like, I have to be in there. I have to be doing something. I'm not going to sit there and just watch everybody else roll and train.
What is wrong with us, man?
I don't know. Anybody else would be like, yeah, you should just rest. It's like, don't.
Man, some people have like, they'll hurt their back and take like a month off work. We hurt our back. It's like, nah, man, we got tape and CBD oil for that.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah. Cold
We about
plunges.
to remedy this bad right. They got cold punches. We about to remedy this bad boy and hit these mats.
Yeah.
I'll worry about the consequences later.
So you do you teach full time?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I teach full time, man. Yeah, we're kind of like in the middle of looking for our own spot now. We've been renting out like space at another gym, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it's slowly but surely, man. This is we kind of had to venture out on our own per se, so it's a lot of like learning as we go.
For sure.
But yep, I love it, man. It's the only thing I would probably let stress me out this much. It's jiu-jitsu. That's it, man.
Yeah.
Nah. Like I would walk away from a 9 to 5 before I walk away from jiu-jitsu. Like, nah.
For sure.
Nah. But yeah,
I get that.
It's because it's just one of those things, man. That I don't know. Maybe it's just because in the time that we've been training, man. Jiu-jitsu has given us so much, and it's like, man, I gotta pay it back. I can't not show up to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Jiu-jitsu's got a weird way of just hooking people and making people. I've seen so many people, like people you wouldn't even think would be into grappling, just get freaking obsessed about it. And it's like, whoa, like what? I don't know what it is about. Is it the problem solving? Is it the I don't know, the sense of power it gives you, it makes you feel over being able to control somebody or lift somebody, or I don't know what it is, but it has a way to hook people.
Because I remember we had a couple join jiu-jitsu with us, and it was more so like the husband wanted to join, and she was just kind of like tagging along a little bit. So it went from her showing up to class, sitting on the side, to her buying a gi, to her actually getting out there and rolling. And I'm like, she's falling in love with it more than her husband is. And it's just like, yeah, we didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of weird. But yeah, it's something about it, man. It just brings out this person that you never thought existed.
Yeah.
And it's just, your confidence, just everything just kind of blossom when you start doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Confidence, and like that's kind of a weird thing too, because you get people that like they do jiu-jitsu and they get overconfident. Like I feel like, oh yeah, I know jiu-jitsu, I train, I'll be able to handle myself. But then you get like, okay, they have that confidence, and then they have somebody brand new that comes in that's like really athletic, maybe wrestled in high school or something real athletic, and then they get shut down.
They get smoked.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, where'd that confidence go? You train jiu-jitsu, you take anybody that doesn't train. This dude doesn't train, and look what happened. Like you gotta kind of have a little bit of humble pie. Take it easy. Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like once you get to black belt, you're just like, okay, yeah, I do jiu-jitsu, I know some stuff, but like shouldn't underestimate anybody, because I've had firefighters and people that you wouldn't assume that were hard to deal with, and it's like, whoa, you're not easy to deal. I've been training 15 years, and like it wasn't a walk in the park with you, so it kind of opened your eyes.
Yeah. Especially rolling with wrestlers, man. And it's just like, they don't know jiu-jitsu, but they have enough, ground development to give you a run for your money. And it's like
body awareness, man. They know how to move their body, and
because I did like this little seminar kind of open mat thing, and I was rolling with these guys, and they're all just wrestled from the time they walked to now, and it's like, we're rolling, we're going, and it's just like, okay, I have to worry about explosiveness, speed, and power right now. This is about to be a long day.
Yeah.
And I just had to ride it out, man. I just had to play very, very defensive until they burnt out, and then it's like, okay, maybe I can maybe I could do something, and it's like, oh no, he still got more.
Yeah. And it comes out of nowhere sometimes.
Yeah, it comes out of nowhere.
There was a guy that I used to train with, and he used to wrestle, and I think he was like a state champ or something a few times. And in jiu-jitsu, we bridge up and over our shoulders, and he would bridge up over the top of his head. So whenever he bridged, like he was on the top of his head, and I was like, that's a freaking bridge, man. Like whenever he bridged, if I got him mounting something and he bridged, I was like, dang, dude, that's a freaking bridge. Like you want out of this. Like I'm used to people just going up over their shoulder, getting to their side. I was like, man, you're basically doing a headstand now. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like a common thing with wrestlers. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was like, dang, man, you guys can bridge like crazy. You don't want those shoulders on the mat.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's one of those things where it's like, they're so used to that. They're so used to like not being, not want their shoulders on the mat. So the first thing they do is, they'll bridge hard and then they'll turn. So like easy, you take their back.
Yeah.
But you give them a little bit of technique, a little bit of understanding. It's just like, oh, dude, why do we show you this?
Yeah.
Like, God, dude.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, there's a guy I used to train with, and he used to be a pro bodybuilder, and he's a firefighter, and it's just like, dude, he's pro. When I mean pro bodybuilder, he was on the pro circuit, and this dude was, I think he's probably 5. I don't know, 5'9", 5'10", maybe. But when he was pro bodybuilding, he was 285, 290. Just like no body fat, just huge. And I'm like showing him like some details on the bread cutter choke, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm gonna regret this later. I'm like, because that was his favorite choke, side control, and I'm just like, oh, I shouldn't be showing you this, but whatever.
Like, why am I showing you? Why am I showing you? Why am I showing you?
Why? Because there's a detail I like, and I haven't seen it many places, and if you're having trouble with the bread cutter choke from side control, some people call it paper cutter, bread cutter. So sometimes when people have problems finishing that, I'm just like, just put your forehead on your wrist and drive it in, and it goes right through everything. And it does. And I showed that to him. I was like, oh my God, dude, this is gonna bite me in the butt soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like you get those, sometimes it's mainly with, with the, with ladies comes in, or you get those real skinny guys and they're like, you're teaching them their rear neck choke. And it's like, believe it or not, man, your arms will be worse than that big guys over there.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're like, oh, really? And then you show them, it's like, God damn it.
Yeah. Guillotines. Yeah. Guillotines. And chokes.
Yeah. Like my wife, she trains, off and on, and the few times we rode, and she worked to get her guillotine or something like that, and I'm coming up wheezing for air, and she's like, "Did I do it right?" I'm like, "I'm crying right now." So yes, you
did coughing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm crying and throwing up over here. Like, of course you did it right.
That's like the hardest. Guillotines are like probably my worst. Like I can't land those for anything. I don't know what it is. I
love guillotines, man. I love guillotines.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't get them.
Because it's just, for some odd reason, like when I'm rolling with people and they'll try to do that, they'll go for that takedown. They go for a takedown. They try to do that body lock that Khabib does.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, well, if you're gonna do that, then if you're gonna keep your neck up, I'm gonna take it. So, yeah. But I love it. It's been one of my more successful submissions is the guillotine.
Nice. Yeah, I guess I just haven't really put in the time to study it and try to get good at it. I just kind of like, I'm not good at it, so I'm just gonna focus on something else, type of thing. So maybe I'd much rather go for like a loop choke or something than a guillotine for me.
Because mainly because I love rolling more no gi than gi.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. For me, it was opposite for a while, but now it's probably I love them both, but like the days that I'm able to train, it's probably I get more no gi than no.
I do enjoy. I'm starting to miss training in the gi because we've been doing no gi for so like a lot more now, especially when it's hot.
Yep.
So it's like no, we ain't running, we ain't doing no gi stuff. It's
Mhm.
all no gi.
Yeah.
But one of our affiliate schools that we train at sometimes they mainly do they do both gi and no gi, but we mainly go on their gi days and it be hot. It be hot, man. It's just like
When
can't
I
do
first
this.
started, that place that I was telling you about when I first started, that shack.
Uh-huh.
I mean, here where I'm at in Washington in the summertime, it's not uncommon to get 110 degrees, and it's like a dry heat. It's not humid here at all. It's super dry, but like
Uh,
we would train in the gi in that shack that didn't have air conditioning. And I remember walking out of there one day and just taking my gi top and wringing it out, just a puddle. And that's coming from a gi top. I'm like, oh, I'm like shriveled up. I'm like a raisin after that class. But yeah, that was some killer hardcore training there.
some of the best though, man. Some
Yeah,
of the
I was in the best
though.
shape of my life then. Because the guy that ran that place was like, man, sometimes our warm-ups would be 45 minutes, just freaking plyometrics and bear crawls and all this kind of stuff. And then, you get 20 minutes of technique and then you roll afterwards. So
Right.
I was in good
Like
shape.
we all just sweating and breathing hard. Now we warmed up. Let's get on to some techniques.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
I
already
go
dead.
home.
Yeah, no. Hey. Yeah, that guy, that was interesting.
Oh man, good times,
Weird
good
stuff,
times.
for sure.
All right, Bo, man. We ask everybody that comes on the show this question, past or present, man. Your top 3 people you would love to get a chance to roll with.
Past or present?
Past or present?
First off, yeah, I'm gonna say first Gordon Ryan. I mean, probably get that a lot, but just to feel his, because he kind of seems to know what you're gonna do all the time before what you're gonna do. So, just to feel that, in no gi, gi would be either Hodger, Gracie, or man, there's so many guys that I'd like to roll with. Because of my body size, my body type and stuff. Hodger or like Salo Ribeiro, because I've heard stories about Salo, or Ricardo Laborio.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you say top 3?
Yeah,
I've named like 3. I've named like 4 or 5 guys. So
I mean, but if there's more, then by all means, man.
yeah, mainly those guys, man, because they're just kind of the top of the food chain, and just kind of I felt what world class feels like, and it made me feel stupid, but I want to feel like what the best in the world feels like. Just like the best in the world makes the guys that I've rolled with look kind of amateur. I want to see. I just want to feel like what it would feel like to roll with those guys.
Yeah, and once again, man, that crazy jiu-jitsu mindset. Like we want to go, like we want to roll with the best. We want to roll with the old school Gracies. We want to roll with Gordon Ryan and all these elite players. Just to say, like, just to feel what other people feel. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would I like I've just been thinking to myself, like, why do I want to roll with XYZ? Yeah. But then you see them roll, you like, man, it can't be that. Not taking nothing from them, but it's like, man, it gotta be something I can do.
Right.
But no.
Yeah. There was a dude I talked to one time. He was a black belt under Hobson Mora. And he's like, I asked him, I was like, what is it like? What's it like to roll with him? And he's like, dude, it's like rolling with a ghost. You can't touch him, can't grab him, can't do anything. It's like rolling with a ghost. I was like, phew, that's a crazy level. Hard to imagine level.
Right. Like, how does that even work? But it does.
Yeah. No sense.
All right, man. Unless you got any other questions for me, man, fire away. If not, let the people know what you're doing, where they can find you, shot your school. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, man. Well, I guess I would just ask, like, what are your thoughts on what's going on now with ADCC and CJI?
I love it.
Do you?
I love the chaos.
Yeah, I mean
I love the chaos.
everybody's bouncing. You know,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, but it shows that, there's more that people can be doing in jiu-jitsu than what they've been doing in ADCC. Because the first thing you were complaining about was like, the fighters are not making any money and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And then here comes Craig, like, okay, everybody that enter gets a guaranteed 10,000, which was what the winners were getting over here.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, no, we paying this person this amount of money to compete at ADCC. It's like, well, where was all that money and stuff beforehand?
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me you got people like Gordon Ryan that's competing every year for nothing.
He's not getting 10,000. He's
right. And we know he's not getting 10,000. So
Yeah.
I mean, but it's needed, man. It's much needed. You need that type of competition.
So since everybody's bouncing, like, what do you think is going to happen to ADCC this year?
It's going to be a very light show.
Yeah.
Because the crazy part is the both shows are in Vegas, and I think they're right down the street from each other on the same day.
Same day, yeah. Well, I mean, he purposely, I think he didn't do it on like the Sunday or something, so people can watch like the finals. That's kind of like okay, go watch the finals that nobody's going to be at type of thing. Like,
I love it, man.
I think it's good.
It.
I don't know. I kind of feel bad for ADCC because it's kind of like I don't know what people get paid for to go to the Olympics, right? Like I don't know. That was kind of the Olympics of our sport, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, who's this? I mean, it's like this is the first one. It's like it's new, so everyone's flocking to it and want to see what's going to happen. But only time can tell, man. Only time will tell what's gonna make it this by this time next year.
Yeah, I don't know. He wants to do it every year, so we'll see.
We shall see, man.
Yeah,
we shall see. I'm excited.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh man, anytime, bro. I love when I get a chance to talk to jiu-jitsu, man, and to talk about jiu-jitsu. So I'm here, always here for it.
Cool. All right, man.
All right. Well, that's the end of today's episode. I would like to thank Boo one more time for coming on the show and bless us with his jiu-jitsu knowledge. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please go and follow our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube page to stay updated on all future episodes. This has been Talk Your Jits Podcast. Keep rolling, keep grinding, and remember, long live jiu-jitsu. Have a great day.